Yo, what is up, my dudes? Welcome to the video. Today we are going over the best settings to use on controller, whether or not you love building or no building mode. I got the best setup. If you like to play both modes or one mode over the other, I got different setups you guys can use. If you guys are loving Fortnite right now and you love the no build mode, this is really going to help you out and make sure you get the maximum beams. You're going to be looking like a keyboard and mouse player like Zemi or Tifu, just absolutely dialed in on people across the map. It's going to be crazy. So stay tuned. We're going to show you guys the binds and the settings to get the best beams. So we're going to start with the best settings for your aim. Basically settings that are going to make you snap right on the target, hit nice headshots every time, be able to be aiming over there, need to change onto a target, get nice and close, get nice and tight, and immediately get a shot off. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you those first, and then we'll get into the binds. So right now, what I'm rocking is, these are our controller settings. We are right into the meat and bones of it. We got 0.2 seconds slide a whole time. I like to have a high slide. Build mode and edit mode. Again, if you're playing on building, this is going to matter to you, but this gives you a nice boost when you're building and editing. We have advanced settings on, and then we have a look horizontal speed of 50 and a vertical speed of 60. So I'm using exponential settings right now. You'll see that setting all the way down here at the bottom. But when you're using exponential, here's the key. I hear a lot of people say they don't really feel like their aim is snappy enough. But what happens is when you get onto a target and then you want to get up onto their head, because the aim assist is so good on exponential, you want to necessarily be able to rise up to get that headshot in as fast as you want. So I actually like to rock a incrementally high vertical speed than horizontal when I'm playing exponential. And also when you're aiming down at people, like if you're up on a porta-fort and you're aiming down at them, having a higher vertical than your horizontal speed will allow you to track people as they kind of go down and try to hide underneath you. If you ever find on controller it's really hard to hit people up in the sky or straight down below, it's probably because you want to have a higher look vertical speed. I turn all the boosts off, again, because we're on exponential. For those who don't know, exponential has built-in boost. You start slow and then get fast, whereas linear, it's just linear action. It's exactly in line with your controller. And so what that looks like is, this is on exponential, right? So start slow, kind of build it up. You can go with really, really light aiming if you want to, or a big swoop, which is why I particularly like it. You can have best of both worlds. You can go fast or slow. Whereas if we go to linear settings, we go to linear, it's much, much more difficult to go with a slow tap. It's there, but you got to be really, have a lot more, basically control over your thumbstick, which is honestly just more difficult to do. And then also, if you're making a big sweep, I personally find it harder to track and settle on my target when I'm using linear settings versus expo settings. I personally find it's like when I'm trying to tee shots at a good range, it's like my aim is swimming. Now, here's the thing. Here's the catch when you're comparing linear versus exponential. Obviously, as I kind of just demonstrated, you're going to be way more secure. You're going to feel way better about how easy it is to track onto target when you're using expo versus linear. There is an upside, though, and you'll see a fair amount of pros still rocking linear, and it's because linear allows you to have that instant movement, which allows you to have really, really easy tunneling. If you're a big builder, it might still be in your consideration, or if you like to play pro Fortnite, to stay on linear. It's not automatically the better thing, but I would say, honestly, for about 98% of players who don't consider themselves building pros or don't want to be building pros, exponential is going to give you way better tracking at range and easily be the easier choice. So to sum it up, if you're not a pro builder, use exponential, or if you're a pro level Fortnite player but you want to take competitive no building tournaments, there's actually a lot of money in no building now, you want to play on expo as well. It's just straight up way easier to control at range, and that should matter to you in no build mode. And it also does matter in build mode, although then it's more of a decision. Do I sacrifice my ability to tunnel and spin in my builds easier, or do I want to get really good storm surge tags at range? That's your decision, but I would recommend expo. Now, moving on to the next thing, we're on controller settings still. Down at the very bottom, another little bit of extra juice to give yourself that added control is to have a 0.2 second dampening time. Dampening time is basically the amount of time that you have to push to get full acceleration. So if you want to be able to get that little bit of a tease your shots out, you want to have 0.2 seconds on. That will give you that little bit of delay. It can delay your builds a little bit, but it can really, really enhance how sticky your aim assist feels. And what I mean by that is when you aim onto somebody with aim assist, you know, your controller adds like a little bit of a slowdown to when you're aiming on them. Adding dampening will help you enhance the stickiness of your aim assist and literally just gives you better aim assist. It's incredible. Now, to get into our binds, this is the tricky thing. This has gotten a lot more difficult as we go on in Fortnite because straight up, as a controller player, bro, we are running out of binds. So right now, my combat controls, this is the big thing if you're a no-build player only. We got a couple little tweaks you can make here. This is what I rock for both no-build and build mode. I will say, if you take this game any bit sweat or seriously, you might want to replace your emote / replay with place marker. That can help you out just to be able to communicate with your teammates. We have L2 is aim down sights. My crouch and my slider on L1 so I can slide easily and I can crouch easily. I can bobble in and out while I'm peeking people. Map, inventory, place marker is all on the D-pad. However, I do have my tactical sprint on the D-pad, which means I have the kind of claw grip like this whenever I want to tack sprint. It's not a big deal for me because I already play right-hand claw, and I only have to switch from this to this, and I'm full sprinting. However, if you hate that and you plan on never touching builds again, you're totally done with builds and you only want to play no build mode, you can take switch mode on your circle and throw your tactical sprint on there. I would recommend doing that if you never touch builds, but if you swap back and forth, I would definitely say do not do that. It's going to absolutely butcher your muscle memory. You will not be able to do it and be able to like switch back and forth because your brain is just going to be farting and accidentally hitting circle and doing the wrong things all the time. Instead of building a wall, you're going to be sprinting at your enemy. It's not going to be a fun time. Highly recommend doing it if you never touch builds. Highly recommend not doing it if you swap back and forth between modes, but that's an option for you. Aside from that, the rest of my builds are self-explanatory. I do have L3 edit, so in order to have that on, to give yourself more binds, you're going to want to have, I don't know exactly where it is right now. What the heck? Where the heck is it? You basically will need to use sprint by default. Now, the other thing is right now is I use my build controls, very similar, pretty basic. Again, this is not a big deal if you play on, if you play only no builds, but this is my setup for build controls, fairly straightforward. My edit controls, I confirm on R1, reset with R3, and that's basically it. That gives me that like really fast edit resetting speed. And then ability controls, not really that relevant. I don't know if we have really any abilities in the game. My dead zones, you basically want to have your dead zone set up so that they're as low as possible without getting too much drift. Even like a little tiny bit of drift is okay. So I currently right now, let's see, we can see it easier from this screen. My left stick dead zone is on 11%. My right stick dead zone is on 5%. You almost want a little tiny bit of drift on your right stick, but your left stick, you want to be able to have it so it's not drifting when you come off of it. So basically what I mean by that is when I let go of my left stick, I never want drift. The reason for that is if you're trying to get first shot accuracy and your left stick starts drifting a little tiny bit on you, you're going to lose first shot accuracy and the effectiveness of tap firing, if your player is slightly like drifting like that, you're going to get that kind of completely butchered. So you want to have a high enough left stick that you get absolutely zero drift with your controller. Hope that helps you out, guys. I think that's pretty much everything I can think of with regards to settings. One thing I will say right now is that if you do play on PC, it's best to try to flip your mouse upside down. Right now, if your mouse gets like kind of touched at all, it will temporarily deactivate your aim assist. So if you play a PC with controller, very specific for you guys, but try to flip your mouse upside down or even unplug it while you're gaming because it can really butcher your gameplay pretty much if you accidentally tap it or if you accidentally kick your mouse wire, it will completely screw you up. That being said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. If this did help you out, drop a like on the video and let me know any tips and tricks you guys like to see. I'm going to get back on the tips and tricks grind. So yeah, let me know something you want to see me do in the future. This weekend, we're going to be uploading a Tfue drop spot video. So stay tuned for that. Dropping absolute high kill game bombs. And yeah, have a great weekend, guys. Appreciate you.